Alright, welcome back. This will be the fourth episode of Python's Beginner's Guide. In previous episodes, we have learned about integers, floats, and variable naming, variable restrictions, mathematical operators. The link of the playlist will be there in the description. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. Alright, so we'll be learning about data types. We already know about integers and floats, and these are not all kinds of data types here. Some are not listed in here because it's going to be a long list, but today we'll be just learning about few data types which include this. Okay, so first, booleans. What are booleans? It might sound strange to you, but booleans are true or false value. Also, you can use 1 as true and 3 as false in programming, but the thing is, the integers will take a lot more space than using true or false. Yeah, so I can just type the word true itself. And by the way, it has to have the capital T. Similarly for false. And this is how you use it mostly. It's mostly like, suppose you have a game, and if you die in a game, then it's going to change to true. The game over is equal to true. Or if you complete the mission, the game over is equal to true. Okay, let's move on to another data type. Okay, so the next data type is none type, which is actually used to represent nothingness in a variable. In other languages, you might have seen null, and none is Python's style of saying null. Okay, let's see how we can use none. Okay, so if you write none, it's similar to true and false. The starting letter should be capital, so Python can define it. It's a keyword. So none, nothing happens. Small. Here, where's the variable called none? Okay, so we can take an example of it. Okay, suppose I have a very simple app which asks user to input their company, the brand of the laptop. So obviously I will ask the name of the person who is using it. Sorry, I forgot this. Yeah, name of the person, and then laptop. I can set it as none. So if the user does not input the value of laptop, that means he does not have a laptop. That's few cases where you can use none. Or if anyone inputs value of the laptop, then definitely he does have a laptop. And the type of laptop is none type. Okay, now let's move to another data type, strings. Okay, so we have studied integers already in episode 2. Now we'll be going through strings. What are strings? It's a sequence of Unicode characters inside double quotes or single quotes. Okay, now let's see how it works. Okay, so you have a variable called x, and you're making and you're inserting the value 8 in x. So type of x is integers, as you know. But if I just add double quotes to 8, it's gonna turn the string. That's what string can do. So you can even have x is equal to my name is something, and still the type will be string. The strings are very important. It can be any Unicode character. It can be Chinese, it can be Japanese, it can be any symbol. So that's all for the string. We will be covering we will be covering everything in the next video about strings. All right, let's move on to another data type. Okay, so the next two are lists and dictionaries. Lists are just order sequence of value of any other data type. It can be boolean, it can be integer, it can be another list, it can be dictionary in a list. So here's an example, and it will be in square brackets 1 comma 2 comma 3, that's a list, or code comma comma line, that's also a list. Dictionaries are key value pairs. Like if you call language, the Python will be printed. So it's in key, language is key, and a colon, then the value of the key, and key is always unique. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is dynamic typing. You might have heard what is dynamic typing in Python. Python is highly flexible for reassigning the variables to another type. Here is the example: x is equal to 2. The type is boolean, and then you change it to integers. It does not give error. It easily converts to integer, and again, it converts to strings. That's why we call Python as dynamic variable. In C++, it's statically typed, so you cannot change the type. If you use int x, then you have to use x as integer. You can't put any other data type. Here's an example: int x is equal to 90, and you change it to x is equal to into a string, it's definitely gonna give you error. But Python does not give you error because it's dynamic typing. It's called dynamic typing. All right, so the last part of this video, comments. This is actually short. It's not really important. You can skip this. But if you're working with 10, or like you're working in a company and you're giving a bunch of code, you have to write comments because you have to specify what's there in the code. So they just read the comment and they understand what the block of code does. All right, suppose you have decided to make a calculator reference. I know this is a foolish example, but still, if you can understand, then it's good for us. So you write a is equal to 6 plus 4 or 2, anything, and then you add a comment, hey, addition. So what actually it does, it tells Python whatever comes after hash, just remove it, just don't mind it. If you just remove the hashtag, it's gonna give you error. So you can add notes, it's like side notes if you want. And if you want to write multi-line comment, you can use double quotes. You can just write anything, literally anything. It will not give you error. So if you want to write a big description of what's a plus b, so you can write in many lines. So that's all for this video. I'm sorry for posting this late because I have exams going on. All right, stay safe, keep coding. See you soon.